Welcome to Weltschmerz. Probably pronounced that word wrong, as I don't really know how to speak German or pronounce their words for that matter, but anyway, this is a short visual novel about two men on a mysterious tram. Sounds interesting, so let's start. That train whistle. Too exhausted for this. Yeah. There's someone else here. How long have I been asleep? Memory hasn't been great lately. Did I leave my train ticket? Did I even have one? So engrossed with whatever's outside. Maybe I can leave the car without him noticing. Oh, still looking out the window, huh? What? Oh, that's probably why. Are you alright? I really get motion sickness when I travel, but that's way too much. What's going on here? My apologies, you must be disoriented from waking up. Must admit, I was a bit startled by your outburst. What? Thought I was the sole passenger in this car, at least. I can't let a stranger see me panicking. Come on, deep breaths. You seem calmer now. That's good. He's back to staring outside again. Maybe something else here can help me? I'm getting out of here. At least I wish I could say that. Door's still jammed. Damn. Well, this is awkward. Nope, nothing. Okay, I'm guessing... Oh, okay, I can... Well, I'm actually, clicking on stuff here. Okay, who are you? I call myself Zeke, and you? Aspen. Lovely name. Did you choose that for yourself? How'd you figure? Lucky guess. Okay, well, I guess we'll talk to you again, because we don't really have anything else to do. Yeah, what is this place? This is a liminal space. Oh god, we're in the back rooms. Just what we need. Sorry, what? Well, the more obvious answer would be that this is a train, but... Search my pockets again and only Lieutenant Lint. You don't recall boarding a train or purchasing a ticket, correct? I could have, I'm not sure. Of course, of anything more, really. Same as I, then. If I had to wager a guess, this reality isn't the one we're physically inhabiting at the moment. How do you mean? What year is it? That's not even relevant. Just answer me. I'm not playing your stupid game. Yeah, it's 2025. That's not me playing this, I guess. Exactly. That train whistle is rather dated, isn't it? Besides that, you don't hear the sound of the trucks or the wind outside, do you? I don't like any of this. You don't have to. These are the cards that were dealt to us. Listen, it doesn't really matter if we're riding a train while the world is burning, or this is some sort of collective unconscious dream. It's indistinguishable from the monotony and chaos of daily life. Same for you, isn't it? Hell no. Usually the scenery isn't on the fire. Not literally, at least. You're a small corner of the world. What do you want from me? What makes you think I want something from you? I'm just trying to live my life. Don't need any of this right now. Keep my head down, I do as I'm told. I'm already taking a huge risk just by existing. Finally got my act together. Started planning for the future. Can I pretend that everything will be okay? Don't take your frustrations out on me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lashed out at you. You're forgiven. I shouldn't have assumed you would handle the current situation as well as I do. How long have you been here? I honestly can't remember. Could have been a few minutes before you, could have been hours, years. Such is the nature of liminal spaces. That again, what does it even mean? Liminal spaces are places of change, of transition. People are only meant to pass through briefly and then be on their way. People like us, however, we tend to linger in these places too long. Sometimes we get stuck, or the journey is much longer than anticipated. Sometimes there are obstacles in our path. I think I understand what you're saying. I believe I'm still here because this is the true state of the world. Nothing is okay. This is the normalcy we're expected to simply accept. This train is a welcome respite for me, knowing that I'm not imagining things. Personally, I disagree, but I can't stand looking at it so much. I feel sick even thinking about it. Don't misunderstand me. It's definitely no comfort to me either. This ugly and horrific world, this is our future. If the one responsible for the damage continue to ignore the consequences of their actions. If fought against it for so long, I fought against it. Making a martyr of yourself won't help though. Is that what you think I'm doing? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. I suppose that's fair to say. So, what now? I hope it's safe to assume we're both headed in the same direction, and not because we're both passengers here. May I have your company? You already have it, and I can't leave anyways. I suppose that's true. Go ahead and rest. I'll keep an eye out in case anything changes. Thanks, Zeke. It's my pleasure, Aspen. Parallel. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's the unfortunate way our world is going at the moment. It's essentially all going to fucking shit. All because of a few vocal minority of people who think that their way is best way and that's how the world should be run, and not for the benefit of everybody on this planet, only for their own selfish needs, unfortunately. Even if they have to tread over a bunch of people to do it. But yeah, that was this visual novel. Nice little read. even if it looks into the nature of how this world is going, which is a very depressing state. But if you guys want to check this out for yourselves, link will be down in the description below, and hopefully if we all become like Zeke and try to make the world an actual better place than whatever this world is now becoming, yeah, this world would be a lot more better. But yeah, that I guess we'll be moving on to the next game. Hello and welcome to Medusa. I literally do not know anything about this game, so let's get into it and find out what it's about, I guess. World monster comes from Latin, derives from the name monstrum, which itself comes from the verb mono. And a lot of stuff derived just for one singular word. Mono means to warn, but it can also mean to remind, to instruct, or to foretell. Thus, monstrosity is a warning, a message, an outward appearance of inner evil. The concept of monster is also close to the ideas of natural and unnatural. Yet we are all part of nature, and thus everything possible is by definition natural. The sun is gently setting. It's time again, I'm going to Medusa's wake. Hopefully we won't get turned to stone though, if it's Medusa from the Greek mythology. Medusa was not worshipped in antiquity. She was a monster. There was no temple, no sacred stone waiting for me at the heart of the woods. Yet there never was anyone quite like me either. Any heroic figure to cling on to as I navigated tumultuous sea waves of my early years. Yeah, that's unfortunate for a lot of us. No matter, recently I learned that bullying has a sociological, almost biological cause. Yeah, and it leads to a lot of lasting effects too. Yeah, the whole sticks and stone break my bones and all that shit, but words still hurt. Children can sense the difference of their peers. Wakes a strong reaction. In order to protect the status quo, integrity of the group. Yeah, unless they have the right adults to steer them in the right direction, a lot of them then, yeah, of course, turn to bullying, and yeah, because they see something as different and don't know how to respond to it, so in most cases they react negatively to it. Thus they mercilessly harass and harm those they perceive as outsiders, as unnatural, as monsters. And thus my fat body, my queer body, my autistic body, all myself, all my difference, was implacably rejected, forcefully set aside, sent back to the shadows. I now live in almost total reclusion. Yeah, rings a little too close home to me. Yeah, back in the day, mental health was not taken as seriously, and yeah, until my very late 20s that I ended up finally getting a proper diagnosis of myself for my own mental issues, but yeah, because kids didn't know any better, and were taught that mental issues are bad and should be shunned type of thing. Anyone who remotely shows symptoms of any form of mental illnesses, yeah, got shunned out, essentially. Medusa at least lived with her two sisters. Medusa was the youngest, and only mortal, the three Gorgons. Outside of my myths, origin is understood to be a charm to repel evil, used on walls and amulets, which they gave birth to a story to explain its own existence. Over makes Medusa a beautiful priestess, and even before him, her betrayal slowly evolved, from a tusked, winged beast of venom and fury, to a youngful, tragic woman. In Ovid's myth, Medusa's beauty is her downfall. On a textual level, it brings her the air of the gods, and on a meta-textual level, it robs her of her identity, and of her power as a monster. There is such strength in being unpalpable, yet for so long I need others to live. I had to be liked, so that I would survive, not be left to rot. I yearn for the fear and the awe. Other monsters may inspire. Thus, in the decaying light, I bring this fat body, this queer body, this disabled body, all the way up to Medusa's wake. The sun has set, night creeps in, or hides in the dark, or stares and prowls, and the shadows along the path. I once read, which knows she is the scariest thing in the forest, but I am no witch. I am a tuskless, fangless, clawless monster. And I am scared. Yet for all that I feel, powerless and alone, I am treated as a threat. Why shouldn't I then become one? Hiding, softening, sanding, parts of myself, making myself smaller and kinder and easier. None that has ever brought me any joy, or kept me safe at all. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people out there that will take advantage of kindness and whatnot. Medusa had tusks and wings, and snakes all over her head. In the mist, it doesn't save her, but I chose to believe that. It made her feel powerful and safer. Slowly, with effort, I climb up. I'm almost there now. This is the hardest part. Hands are clammy, cheeks are red, I'm out of breath. But you're still making the journey, and I guess that's what counts. Her tusks are beautiful. Medusa can never win. This is her part in the myth, but this is not the myth. And while I cannot tell her story, I can tell mine. I can create my own myth. I can change the narrative. I can still stand up, even if others have weapons, and I only have my words. Yeah, and that's one of the many reasons I stuck my head into books instead. Trying to make friends, because reading a story is much easier than, dealing with the outside world and dealing with all the horrible people in it. Whether I am still loved, still cared for, still kept alive, whether I have any influence over what happens to me, whether I can keep myself safe or am doomed to fall, I can still stand up, I can still try. I must. No matter what, I must try. Here is, in Medusa's wake, the cold water under the coldest moon, which brings out one's true nature. Will it be tusks, I wonder? Will it be fangs? Bring it outward, O silver water. Bring it outward, the serpentine crown. Make me one of the snakes, crawling in Medusa's head. As the wise one said, I and the beast I worship. I will now become my own Gorgon. And that's it. Very short and sweet, but yeah. That's the unfortunate thing of getting bullied. You either see yourself try and become a genuinely kind person from it, or see yourself become the monster that's far worse than the bullies themselves. Because if they're gonna treat you like the monster and treat you like shit because of it, why not become it? Because no amount of being nice to them, or ignoring them, or whatever else other bullshit solution, it will work, so why bother trying, right? Yeah, that's the unfortunate way the world goes, and bullying in general. Definitely do not need to bring back bullying. But yeah, that was Medusa. Very short and very sweet. And yeah, it definitely makes you think a lot back on life, but yeah. Hope you guys are having a good day out there, and I guess try to be nicer to people, and maybe check on your friends and stuff as well. Yeah, I guess we'll be moving on to the next game after this. Welcome to Fugitive Flight, a visual novel about you and 3 other refugees fleeing the oppressive regime of your home star system. And now that you're stuck on this little freighter, you can maybe fall in love with them, or all of them. So, yeah, without further ado, we'll start a new game. Roar the engine is all there is. It's an all-consuming sound, resonating viciously through the cargo hold, assaulting the ears of both yourself and the 2 you're huddled together with. The pitch-black darkness and constant clamour leaves precious little to cling to. Keep yourself grounded. Feel a hand tighten on your arm. You're not sure whose it is. Barely got a chance to see your travelling companions before you were closed into the hold for safety. Sure, let's continue holding their hand. Reciprocate resting your hand on their own. May not know this person, but you share their situation. This can't be easy for any of you. It feels like forever before you feel the slight tug of zero gravity, but it's only a moment before the ship's own gravity systems kick in and restore something resembling normalcy. Then, slowly, the sound of the engine finally recedes. Momentum needs only to be set in the vacuum of space, after all. Once free of the planet's tyrannical grasp, the engines can rest until it's time to adjust course. Still, you wait. Silence is preferable to the cacophony, but the darkness still feels oppressive. It shouldn't, you know. It's a necessary step toward freedom, the only companion of your journey to a better place. But even so, if not for the warm presence of others on either side of you, can't help the feeling that you can lose yourself entirely in this darkness. Slowly, without realizing it, you drift off into sleep. Wake to a gentle shaking of your shoulders. Hey, come on, wake up. We're in open space. Your eyes open as you see the illuminated cargo hold. This is the first you've actually seen it. Small but sparsely packed, lit by long rows of LED lights lining the walls. Look up to see a kindly face, probably a bit older than you. Hey, welcome back. I pressed your shoulder once before standing up and taking a few steps back. As you stand, you realize the other 2 you were in darkness with have already stood. You can't tell which would have been on which side of you back there. One is a mousy person with a mechanical limbs and a robotic eye. Expression is distant, so they're not entirely focused on the situation at hand. I suppose you can't blame them. Other is a woman who appears to be already be simmering in the corner. Eyes are fallen protectively over her chest, and she isn't making eye contact with anyone else in the room. I get the feeling she's going to be a tough nut to crack. Man who woke up clears his throat. So far so good. So off-world and out of the controlled space with no problems. So, you three, alright? Were you three alright? I know the cargo hold ain't the most comfortable place. You know, the feeling it would be ungrateful to complain of the noise or the all-consuming darkness. Man's very probably saving your life, after all. It's loud, but I'm fine. Been worse in transport situations. Man nods, apprehension apparent in his movements. Good, that's good. Well, I'm your pilot for this little voyage, so come to me if you need anything. We'll be spending around 30 days together, so I guess there's time to get to know each other. For now, guess I'll show you around. Turns and hits a button on the wall, and an airlock door slides open. You realize for the first time that he could easily have spaced you, but he didn't. Not that you had any reason to think he might. It would be strange to take on refugees as passengers, only to eject them the moment you leave the planet. Just hard not to think that way these days. It's a low bar for trusting someone, but it's a start. The door from the cargo hold immediately opens into a small communal area. There's a couch, a square table with a chair on each side, and a small counter with a few small kitchen appliances. Pilot turns to face you, but conspicuously doesn't actually make eye contact with any of you. You're small, but it'll do for now. Rations are in the cupboards, read heaters on the counter if you'd rather eat them that way. Got something special planned for dinner tonight, though, so don't go grabbing them yet. Welcome to use this space as you like. Want you to, well, just make yourself comfortable. Moves on showing you through a hallway with 2 doors on either side. These are your quarters. Well, this one's mine. Motion to the door closest to him. Closest to the cockpit, you see. There's a thumb over his shoulder indicating the way other end of the hallway. You can check it out too if you want. Probably be in there most often than not. I'm trusting you not to touch anything in there, all without my permission, leastways. Pilot looks around for a moment, as if he's considering whether there's something he may be forgetting. I can't help but doubt it, with a ship this small. And yet his eyes widen and he moves back into the common room, kneeling down in the corner and lifting an inconspicuous panel up from the floor. Also got a secret compartment, for hiding or smuggling. Hopefully you won't need to know about this anyway, but here it is. Closes the compartment and lets out a sigh. And suppose that's it, really. Don't need to know access ports and such, I expect. So how about you all get settled in? Take some time if you need it. Rooms are all the same, pick whichever you like. About an hour or so, I'll have dinner ready in the common rooms, so yeah. Turns to head into the cockpit, but turns before opening the door. The apprehension in his eyes has given way to a kind of sad smile. And really, I mean it. Any of you need anything at all, just let me know. This can't be easy, so I want this to be as good as it can be. Looks between each of you, nods a little awkwardly and disappears into the cockpit. Look to your fellow refugees, but the woman has already opened the door closest to her and stepped inside. The one with the robotic part looks at you for a moment, as if judging what you may do, but after a moment they turn and step into another one of the rooms. All the same, the pilot said, so who guessed what room hardly matters. Open the remaining door and step inside. The room is indeed very sparse. A small cot takes up a sizable chunk of the room in one corner. A few boxes are stacked just to the side of the door. Another box, just big enough to serve as some kind of end table, rests near the head of the bed. You sigh, set your bag down on the bed and sit yourself down next to it. Now passes with a little fanfare, only the storm of your own thoughts to keep you company. Pilot seems plenty friendly, but also emotionally intelligent enough to realize you could use some time to yourself. Eventually, his voice rings over the speakers throughout the ship, saying that dinner is ready. Rebel is already at the table by the time you get into the common room, but she's not the first thing you notice. The table is set with an actual meal, not the rations you usually expect for space travel, but actual food. Some kind of roasted bird is sitting whole in the center of the table, surrounded by mashed potatoes and various condiments. There are even glasses, actual for real glasses, not the bottles that are usually used in ships that could experience zero gravity set at each table. Yeah, I get the feeling we might as well enjoy it while it lasts. Because, yeah, most of it might get destroyed with the zero gravity and whatnot, but I don't know. I'm not really entirely sure how zero gravity works, or space in general. Surprise must be showing through your expression, because the pilot scratches his head nervously and gestures to an open seat. Well, don't expect this kind of thing usually. We mostly survive off rations, like most spacefarers. Just wanted to kick off things with something a little nicer, you know? Yeah, this is hard enough on you all as it is. May as well give you a warm welcome. You know I didn't have a seat, eyeing the food with a hungry stare. Thankfully, it's not long before the modder shows up too, glancing over the food and taking a seat without fanfare. Only once everyone's plate is full does the pilot speak again. So, I figure we should all introduce ourselves. Don't gotta be friends or nothing, but we're gonna be on the ship for around 30 days or so. Doesn't hurt to know a little about each other. Besides, I already know the basics about each you. Figure we all should, right? Doesn't speak the last part, they implied who first, but everyone at the table gets it. But there's still a long moment of silence before the woman speaks up. Well, I'm part of a resistance group. Heard about a little scheme, messed with their ability to process new prisoners at one of the big camps. Pretty small time, really, as our operations go, but screwed up, left a trail. They identified me. See if it's tying around her fork, quivering from the tension. Weight shifts a little in her seat, as though moving to stand, and her voice rises. Don't want to go. Don't want to leave my friends to this fascist pieces of... She stops herself, closes her eyes and takes a deep breath. Her weight settles back in the chair and she loosens up, enough to idly pick at her food. Guess there was no point in staying and getting sent to camp, so I'm leaving. Pilot nods, putting an empathetic smile that can't quite overcome his grim expression. Then his head swivels towards you and the modder. Well, I think you've already seen why I'm running. I lift a mechanical arm and point to their cybernetic eye. I made the loans myself. Couldn't afford the monthly fees for a legit licensed eye. Didn't want them controlling it. They don't like that. Flew under the radar for a long time, but, well, it was time to go. Never understood why the government would be doing the corruption corporation's dirty work, but that's how it is, I guess. So I had to pay the licensing fees, or they'd take the parts. Can't afford fees, not letting them take my body, so they gestured to the room around them, and the conclusion self-evident. Then all eyes turned to you. Sigh heavily and introduce yourself. Oh, okay, so I can pick my name. Oh, you gotta go for the usual red shirt. My name is Red Shirt. We'll go with they, them as well. They, them, as far as pronouns go. As for why I'm running, brother in the resistance, unlicensed mechanical parts, or possession of banned material. Seeing as the other two are kind of already taken as far as backstories go, we'll go with possession of banned materials. Had some stuff that I wasn't supposed to have. You know how they get about having things like actual information, historical data, or anything fun? I caught with some books and bits I wasn't supposed to have, and now it's either the campus or anywhere else. I choose anywhere else. Pilot nods, glancing between the three of you. Oh, it's nice to meet you all. Hold up, you two. Pilot's eyes widen a bit. Me? Oh, sure, guess that makes sense. Pitches with his fork a bit, putting a finger on the end and balancing it on his place. I'm not in danger myself, not as much anyway. Don't get no robot parts or resistant buddies. Goes quiet for a moment, staring silently at his unfinished food. Just couldn't stand it. Feels like a whole system has lost its mind, cheering on a dictator while their neighbours suffer. Wanted to leave before things got worse, but couldn't justify it on my own. Just as brawling around him to the small room on the small ship. Couldn't take a lot with me, but figured it was the least I could do. Silence settles in the room for a moment. Rebel was simmering again, tension radiating from them. Whether the anger is directed towards the pilot, the government, or herself is unclear. Mother simply nods and eventually breaks the silence. Well, I appreciate it. Three of you share a look for a moment, then you know you all understand. You just met this guy and have little reason to trust him. But you also have little in the way of options, and this is your best bet at freedom. Guilt feels like a more trustworthy motivator than money, at least. Little reason to expect the pilot would betray you all. So you sit and eat, enjoy the hospitality of your host. The rest of the meal passes by mostly in silence, pockmarked by occasional brief small talk. Food is pretty nice, actually. Sharing the circumstances suck the joy out of a good meal. Still, it does brighten the experience a bit. Eating spacefaring rations at the start of this journey would have been an entirely dismal affair. As far as gestures to demonstrate that he cares for you all, Pilot could have done much worse. Find yourself back in your room after dinner, alone once more. There are no days on the ship, technically. No such thing as a day in outer space. The ship, as most are, is outfitted with automatic lights, and that emulate the sun and day length of the planet of the pilot's choosing. It's simply much more comfortable for your average traveller to have some kind of normalcy and routine similar to the natural cycles of a planet. So you lie in bed and close your eyes, willing sleep to take you sooner than later. Eventually it obliges. Day 2. Pilot has precisely 3 board games on the ship. Pretty pedestrian, but you'll take what you can for fun on this trip. Today we'll end up playing a game called whatever that is. Each of the players start with a small business and a little money. Tries to buy out the others to win. Oh, like Monopoly. You each take turns moving around the board and buying out what you can, while also sabotaging everyone else's businesses. Play aggressively, play defensively, or complain about the premise. Sure, let's play defensively. Play very carefully, only making purchases when it seems like a clearly good bet. Ultimately though, you end up getting brought out very early on, along with the pilot. God damn it. Maybe I should have done aggressively. Two of you end up spending most of the time watching the Rebel and Modder go toe to toe, which the game together proves more entertaining than you had expected. Hell yeah. And it's already on to day 3. It's movie night. Tonight is the pilot's turn to pick the movie, and you always set it up on the couch while the ship projects onto the opposite wall. Pilot's pick starts out feeling like a fairly standard comedy fare. 3 friends take off on a vacation across the system, excited for fun and a raunchy time. But the first planet they visit winds up with a misunderstanding that gets them all high on some unspecific off-world hallucinogenic drug. From there, it's an increasingly abstract adventure throughout the system and even beyond. Yeah, sounds very familiar to a certain other movie in our lifetime. It's unclear how much of it is even real and how much of it is hallucinated, but the answers get stranger and stranger as the movie goes on. When it's done, the pilot has been laughing like a madman the whole time. The Rebel and Modder's responses have been significantly more muted. Since the pilot can tell it wasn't their cup of tea, so he turns to you instead. So, what do you think? It was hilarious, inane, or boring? Inane. Completely inane. Pilot shrugs while the Rebel grins. Oh, it appeals to her, hell yeah. I'm with you on that one. There's no rhyme or reason to anything. It was just a bunch of random nonsense. It's supposed to be nonsensical. It's a drug trip. Doesn't make it fun to watch. The rest of the evening is spent debating whether absurdity and colourful visual nonsense is enough to constitute actual comedy. Seems there's no convincing the Rebel or the Modder, but the pilot is content in his enjoyment of the film regardless. And at least these days they're flying by pretty quickly. Advertisement comes in over an open channel, claiming authentic seafood from Aquarius Gamma. Always bothered you how many planets got named with words from completely different old Earth languages, but there's little to be done about that now. Government's too busy oppressing the downtrodden and enriching the wealthy to change stupid century-old naming conventions. In any case, a change from the rations would do you all some good, so the pilot downloads the menu and takes all your orders. Aquarius Gamma is an oceanic planet, almost entirely covered in water, so there's a larger variety of seafood to be found there than anywhere else in the system. The menu certainly reflects that. Or some kind of fish, some kind of crustacean, or something bizarre. Sure, let's go with something bizarre. Adventure. Fun kind. At least it's hard to come by when you're running from a tyrannical government. Figure you may as well pick something strange, something that seems wholly unfamiliar to you. If you pick something at random from the options you don't recognize, pass your order along to the pilot. Drone delivers the food through a small port in the airlock. The pilot retrieves it to bring to all of you in the common room. Guests pass around the table and everyone starts digging into their food. This is nothing you ever tasted. Texture is somehow both rubbery and tender. Taste is only vaguely familiar. It's like it's still seafood, but from a completely different sea with a completely different chemical makeup. Which you suppose it is. One is enjoying a crustacean of some kind. Clearly enjoying the kind of food they rarely got to in their daily life. Rebel is biting into something that defies explanation. A fish, you suppose. Very nearly, whatever that is in its shape. Whereas the pilot is simply enjoying a nice, normal-looking fish. Chatter around the dinner table is nice, and you all feel refreshed by the end of the day cycle. Hell yeah. Wake in the morning, or the ship's simulation of one anyway, to the pilot's voice over the intercom asking you to see all of you. Managed to roll out of bed before long and join everyone in the common room. Hope you all slept alright. We're coming up on the stop. Old space station, but when there weren't countless other stops like it. That's all the stuff to pick up for the trip. You can join if you like. Space stations are safer from the government's influence than the planet, so we should be okay as long as we're inconspicuous. Leave in 2 hours though, so be back by then. Can't afford to wait around. Says that last part with resignation, another hint of forcefulness to be heard. But sure is true nonetheless. There's no safer way to go looking for one of you if you're nowhere to be found at leaving time. Asking around about any of you is sure to draw attention, and that's the last thing any of you want. For long, you hear the clank of the ship's landing gear and making contact with the dock platform. Head out into the common room. Rebel and Mother are both there already. Former greets you with a cheerful smile, like in her anger and reluctance to find her countenance at last night's dinner. Lila simply nods in your direction, acknowledging your presence without making clear any particular opinion on it. As the pilot opens the airlock and steps out into the station, you realize you don't have any particular needs in a place like this. Might be a good opportunity to get to know one of your fellow refugees, though. Who will you go with? Ooh, who do we go with? Let's go with the Mother, I guess. Turn to the Mother as you exit the ship. Don't have anything particular to do myself, so mind if I come with you? Well, it gives me a look halfway between surprise and boredom, but nods. Sure, just picking up some parts of the road and pause. Look off into the distance at the other ships coming and going, then back to you. Some food, I think. You can help me look. And with that, they're off. You follow. Wander around the streets of the station's commercial district with no particular destination in mind. It's clear they haven't been here before and they're just looking for something promising. The journey isn't all that abnormal except for the glares that they're getting from some random passerby. Takes you a little bit to trace their glances and realize they're staring at Mother's robotic parts. There's suspicion, sometimes even hatred in their eyes. People are going increasingly suspicious of people with robotic parts in recent years. It doesn't seem fair, random people who don't know them making assumptions and imagining nefarious intent. Eventually they find a shop that seems to meet their standards. We are already past a number of shops with display windows full of fancy robotic body parts to entice the curious passerbys. But this place is small, humble, with no sign of that kind of advertising. One seems immediately more at ease as they enter the shop, carrying the tools and mechanical parts that line the walls. Browse silently for a while, muttering to themselves and occasionally picking out one or another component to take with them. Recently they check out with the clerk a young man with his own robotic arm and some kind of implant in his forehead. Before you know it, you're back on the road and they turn to you. Glance around the markers while they address you. Okay, we're looking for a restaurant. Nothing fancy, just gotta serve the kind of food we'd eat back on our own planet. Turn to explore again, and it doesn't take long to find exactly what they're looking for. It's a small restaurant, just a small kitchen building surrounded by open-air seating, and they find what they're looking for on the menu within moments. You sit at an open table while they order. Soon enough, they take a seat next to you. Can't help but continue to notice the strange looks from others at nearby tables, but if the Mother notices, they aren't showing it. Poor guy is probably used to it by now. Thanks for coming with. Barely know each other, but just having someone else with me is reassuring. Do you always get as many people randomly glaring at you? Look away with a sad smile. Pretty much, I'm used to it. A few arrives moments later, and the Mother hesitantly digs in. but they only get a few bites in before they stop, staring at the food with a distant emptiness in their eyes. Knew it wouldn't be the same, but silent look up towards you. Her food back home. Mom make it pretty often. Birthdays, holidays, or if I just had a crappy day, you know. Guess I wanted one more taste of it, but just made me miss it more. One stares at the food for a while, then just stands. Sorry, didn't mean to. Sorry. Let's just go back. 2 hours after the shopping excursion began, the pilot takes one final run towards the ship to make sure everybody's ready. Well, you know it, you're off. The stop and the planet you lived on your whole life see into the far distance behind you. Don't mind the company as much as you feared, but still, this is going to be a long trip. That it is. But with that, I am going to cut it short here, because there's plenty more games that I gotta go play through. But yeah, very interesting game. I'm quite liking it. Definitely liking the characters too. Wish I could have spent a bit more time with them, but that'll be something for another day. But if you guys want to read through more of this visual novel, link will be down in the description below for it. And yeah, with that, we'll be moving on to the next game.